On the far side of the bubble, on the dark side of an airless moon, on the slightly more interesting side of a ravine, there lived the engineer. The engineer can make your lasers more powerful.
Pew, pew.
Your engines speedier. And your gas tank really, really big.
What do you want?
I want fish.
Wait, what?
That's right, fish! Carp, char, chub, jack, loach, crabby, monkeyface, prickleback, sole, snook, snake, tang, wahoo, wabagom, banjo, banga, snook, sole, shad, scat. Come on by with the long-nosed cat. Noodlefish, nibblefish, northern squaw, hooma hooma nooka nooka wappa wah.
What about Swedish fish?
Why the hell not?
Thanks, mister.
You're in the wrong commercial.
Well, shit.
Fish, because, space.
The screen is dark. A projector starts, and the picture fades in. It's silent, and looks like an old Max Sennett movie. We see a funny man walking in an oddly stilted manner along a spillway, accompanied by a mutant dog that's so tall that it looks as if it's two small men in a costume. A series of captions with pretty borders flash up and replace the picture briefly. They read, "Two birds with one stone. I can delay the start of Christmas and keep the dog happy at the same time. What the funk?" A tatty seagull dangling from a piece of string is waved in front of the dog, which proceeds to run around like a mad thing. A caption reads, "Look out for the lead!" Our hero looks up as if to say, "What are you talking about?" and then proceeds in a slow motion tumble to the ground. Captions spell out, "Crack," and again, "Crack," and "Oh, funk." The camera points up from a low viewpoint, where we can see a dog's cold, wet nose and the grey and white flashing lights on top of an ambulance. Fade to black. House lights up, please. Are we ready?
Our mics are live. Good evening, everyone. I'm Harry Balzac, your host for this evening. That little preview or dumb show was in honor of our fallen comrade, Rudolf Hucker, sometimes known as Van Tiern, who took a tumble this week, breaking his arm in two places and dislocating his elbow. Still, you gotta laugh, eh? He's about as compos mentis as he ever was, but the position of the break means he can't have a cast fitted, so he has to be careful. And as anyone who's ever met him or even seen him from the other side of a fairly large room will know, that's not his forte. We've given him a rare night off, and Nurse Wyeth is taking good care of him and has promised that if he's really good, he can have the thermometer in his mouth this time. Anyway, enough about whatever his name was. The people we do have tonight are the seamless Wilma Fingerdo.
Good evening.
The seamless apology officer.
Good evening.
The matchless Norma Snockers. With the hand on the wrong keyboard.
Yeah, wrong keyboard.
Hello, everyone.
And the gormless Lou.
I do so have a gorm.
Oh, you are a wag. Is that a typo? On with the headlines. Our take on Lakon.
It's full of stars. Don't make me laugh.
Purple rains. Purple rains.
Epic pilots are ratted out.
Experiencing painite in your refinery? We've been looking into it.
Yes.
He's not here.
I'll do it. A roundup of some of the smaller stories of the week.
BGS 2.0. This time it's unchanged.
Community spirit from our spirited community.
Much has been said recently about the bid for Core Dynamics to purchase Lakon Spaceways. And indeed, we have a few words later in the show from someone you may recognise in this context. But here, we offer our own interpretation and indeed speculation about what this proposal might mean. Since the retirement of Lakon's top salesman, Mr. Buck Naked, sales have started a steady decline, leading to conjecture that this bid would definitely be classed as friendly and is no more than a way of ensuring that Lakon Spaceways receives a cash injection, allowing it to press on with its secret plans for new ships, such as the Lakon Type 11, which can have externally fitted cargo racks, or the Type 12, the Thunderbird 2 of the fleet, the only ship in the galaxy with interchangeable cargo pods and a space for a bald man with glowing eyes. A spokesman for Core Dynamics denies this, however, and claims that this is more akin to Ancient Earth when General Motors took over Holden in Australia. Holden was originally a saddle maker before diversifying into cars, which did make for slightly uncomfortable seating in early models, especially if your feet wouldn't reach the accelerator stirrup, and the special woman's model cars that had both pedals fitted on the same side. Core Dynamics has promised that their new ships will follow a similar pattern to those of Holden, including the Boomerang, a ship that can be relied on bringing you back after a night out, the Woomerer that goes like a rocket, and the Ute, a special utility ship that is as muscular as a Chippendale dancer and as solid as a Chippendale sideboard. Ute is not to be confused with the very similar ship, the Yurt, as that's modelled on a camper van. But they tell us that we should give no credence at all to any scuttlebutt that says there will be a new model of the Asp based on anything from Roberts Space Industries. There have been unconfirmed rumours of new land vehicles to compete with the Scarab coming soon, and we understand Core Dynamics are set to unveil their monster truck, with oversized wheels that'll let you peer in at the window of an Anaconda, and with enough undercarriage lighting to read a star chart by 3 systems away, though it will have to wait until someone builds a ship's planetary vehicle hangar large enough.
One of the galaxy's oldest institutions, the 1500-year-old Milky Way Practical Jokers Club, has had the last ever annual general meeting last week, at which they announced that the club would be disbanded with immediate effect as there were no new practical jokes left for them to try. We all remember the highs and lows of this club, from the magnificence of putting blue hair dye in the water supply of an entire planet and claiming that the whole population was related to Aisling Duval, to hacking into the Lakon Spaceways ship design database and altering things so that, for a period of nearly 20 years, every new Lakon ship in the galaxy was fitted with a whoopee cushion as part of the captain's chair, and was only eventually brought to light when Buck Naked refused to concede that such a comparatively quiet noise could not have come from his nether regions. The existence of the club was put in jeopardy around 150 years ago when they put Thargoid-shaped ship kits on their sidewinders and flew around Commander John Jameson making beep beep noises, causing the now famous crash. But since many of the founding members were of the galaxy's ruling classes, the event was hushed up and a cover story was leaked to the infant Galnet. We will miss the exploding Comitra cigars, the Airla body soap that would turn the user's face the colour and pattern of a lesser-known Scottish tartan, Clan McMagic roundabout in case you're wondering, the time that Cecil entirely missed how the nail through the finger joke worked, causing much consternation on the part of Nurse Wyeth, the hyper-realistic Moma's box spaniel poo, I don't care what they say, that was not made out of plastic. And the lese majesté of the dribbling Hutton mug, fake, of course. But of course, the highlight of the club's endeavours, their apogee, some say their climax, but we don't talk to that kind of people, was the dropping from an old-fashioned helicopter back in the year 2020 of a shiny metal monolith in the heart of the Utah desert, which baffled onlookers for many years, prompting speculation of alien visitors, and was only rumbled when some careless tourists leant up against it while opening their pack of sandwiches, and when it fell over, on the bottom was the inscription, "Other way up."
Over the centuries, scientists, who obviously had nothing better to do, calculated the average colour of the universe. They did this by looking at the different frequencies of light coming from hundreds of thousands of galaxies in an attempt to calculate the age of the universe, or because they were incredibly bored. They threw a party when they finished their calculations and declared that the average colour of the universe was a sort of greenish white. A little while later, actually the next year, now that they were sober, they went back and checked their calculations, only to find that the average colour was in fact one described by the hex triplet #FFF8E7. And after naming a competition where the only rule was not beige, the winner, having seen off primordial clam chowder and cosmic cream, was Cosmic Latte, although presumably they meant Cosmic Cafe Latte, as Cosmic Milk would just invite too much ribaldry. And they all felt quite pleased with themselves for quite a long time. 1,304 years to be exact. This week, the Pilots Federation quietly let it be known that they had looked at this issue in some detail, and that the average colour of the universe is, in fact, purple. Vibrant purple. No, it's true. They let it slip at the end of a recent live stream talking about... Oh, I don't know what they talked about. I don't think anyone was actually listening. They just turned up for the party bag at the end, and those of us who waited until the end of the credits to see if there was an Easter egg got a surprise. Apparently, the Pilots Federation have just discovered the file that had the information in that was propping up a wonky desk leg more like, that not only is vibrant purple the average colour of the universe, but because of some genetic defect, Thargoids cannot see vibrant purple at all. They look right through it, like someone on a street corner holding a charity bucket. Invisibule. This is why, out of the kindness of their hearts, the Pilots Federation was giving away purple paint, purple lasers, purple engine exhausts and purple aviator glasses, all as camouflage. Use these and the Thargoids will fly around with all 8 tentacles scratching their head, wondering what is hitting them. If you've got these new super sneaky additions, then why not join the rest of the squad, Deadshot, Joker, Harley Quinn and Slipknot, and go out and show the Thargoids what you're made of.
Here is a proclamation from the Fuel Rats, sent to us by Commander Micro T. The Fuel Rats would like to thank Flossie and all the other old-timers who dug up their fuel limpet controller manuals and jogged to help during the epic rush. With their additional help, we managed to break our all-time record for the number of successful cases in a day, with 560 rescues completed in 24 hours. We've 18 cases at Alpha Centauri since the 19th, as well as completing over 90,000 total rescues since the founding of the Fuel Rats. We expect the high caseload to continue, and we are grateful for your continued support as the cases continue to flow in. We're not out of the woods yet. We have already put in the order to get sturdier rocking chairs into the Woolheim Vision lounge area for all the rescue-hardened rats who have done a superb job dealing with the influx of clients. Oh, that's the rat signal again. Good talk. We here at Hutton would like to add our thanks as well, and not just because Flossie is a trucker and is standing in the corner with the frying pan, but because the rats do a brilliant job for no other reason than the occasional thank you. And the increase in workload caused by the influx of space lemmings this week has been tremendous. Well done to each and every one of you.
Keyboard.
Sorry. I'm just so taken aback. On Monday, Galnet warned everyone to be aware of volatile commodity prices, seemingly centred around the mining sector, with the warning that it was likely that prices for some lower value goods may increase. This has thrown the futures market into confusion. Were they right to invest in void opals? With the unrest causing an immediate upsurge in the production of salt from the miners, should they get their hands on a load of bio-waste? Will it blow up in their faces, or will a strain of quantitative easing lead to money-earning capability brownouts? There is a danger that if the price for relatively common goods shows up a sharp upsurge, the galaxy could find hyperinflation becomes rampant, or at least mildly aroused, and could lead to prices that look like they're in lira, or we might need wheelbarrows full of money to buy a loaf of bread. Has Bromelite's time finally arrived? Will miners find that they have to unignore a load of minerals that they previously spurned? What will happen to all the painites that's sitting in warehouses all over the galaxy as the price drops? All we know is that there's never been a better time to gold plate your ships, and with the need for fleet carriers to find other incentives to encourage pilots to bring them their painite fuel, look out for package holidays to the Pleiades for bargain prices very soon.
Team IDA, or is it IDA? It's so tempting to try the voice. In the personage of Commander Astro Snufkin, showed that unlike the commander who we mentioned last week, who had drawn a man's dangly bits, you do not need to be smutty when he created the universe's largest Etch-a-Sketch and drew the IDA logo, stretching clear across the galaxy, and in a sidewinder no less. That's got to take a certain something, hasn't it? Which might explain why the logo features two of the largest nuts I've ever seen.
Alter ego of Short Engineer 78, Commander Starreach, has been experimenting with renaming his SRV as Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Not to commemorate the sound it makes just before he skids into a boulder and explodes, but because he's attempted to make it fly. He assures us that its 0 light-year jump range will not be an obstacle, and that his takeoff from Hushabye Mountain has not made him a lonely man, despite his motto of think vulgar.
King Hanky has managed to put the genie back in the bottle, and his mainframe is back up and working. The hot bus schedule will be republished soon, and all of the clones are being rounded up for departure. Don't believe us? I bet if you go outside, the streets will be empty.
We're going to need a crash soon. After last week's talk of a 6-year-old pilot, Commander FTM Mustang shows us that his 8-year-old is quite capable of assisting in going for gold too. And even Mini Van, Commander Vantian's son, at the ripe old age of 12, has taken up the helm. Still, that's not bad. At least they have 3 good arms and 1 brain between them.
Not much to report about the BGS this week. In fact, I should probably just play a recording of last week's report as so little has changed. There is some good news. We've ridden slightly in nonsenses. Nowhere near enough, of course, but I suppose that with 94.23%, actual figures from the Hutton Helper, of our commanders, me included, showing us out in the depths of space gathering data, that's to be expected. We did, as predicted, expand again, but LHS 1358 is a shithole that we don't want. And bearing in mind that we have LHS 340, that's quite the insult. So the war we found ourselves in needs losing. Any truckers desperately in need of pew-pew must deck their ships in the shocking pink and lime green of the La La Land 6320 Blue Allied organisation and fight against the truckers. A huge shout out to Commander Wintering Cymru, who, despite me repeatedly referring to his beloved home system as piss flaps, has proved he listens to the show by asking for help in dropping its influence and preventing another expansion. So please heed the call and do what you can to help. Over in Colonia, we have an election in Tyr, as always, that we're winning, and there's an outbreak in Doriso. Meds can be sourced from Tyr or Ratrai, so hopefully you can get high influence missions from Tyr shipping meds to Doriso, reaping the benefits at both ends, which is the opposite to what the poor sods suffering from the outbreak are doing. And you also get rich doing it. Well, that's enough from me, and if anyone asks, I've not hung Rudolph's sling over the door, and I'm definitely not using it as a footrest. Over to Norma.
And now it's time for the news, created by you, the community, as you organise in-game events. We're always happy to publicise your events. Please get in touch if you'd like us to feature your event, or if you know of one that you think we'd want to hear about. Back in October, we told you about the Christmas Carriers Convoy 5. The first Christmas convoy with carriers, in conjunction with its collaborators Shadow of the Phoenix and Colonia Citizens Network, is extending this tradition to the far reaches of space by delivering presents to Colonia in time for the annual festivities. The convoy, including the fleet carrier the Cosmic Parrot, sets out for Colonia on Saturday, the 28th of November. That's 2 days from the time of this broadcast. And details of the goods that are being taken on the voyage are in EDSM, and we've created a short link to make it easy to find. That's bit.ly/xmasconvoy5. I think that's supposed to be details of the goods that are being taken. The excitement doesn't stop once you arrive. Oh no. Commander Darkstar tells us the plan after Colonia is to head to Sagae with a brief stop at an 11G world en route for some fun speedballing shenanigans and other fun at an 11G landable world at Kylol CL-Y G1518D1. Then onward to Sagae at Explorer's Anchorage, and then back to the bubble with Wolf 562 as the final stop. The Cosmic Parrot will have all services available at all times, minus secure trading. Please encourage everyone that wants to do a high G world to bring their favourite ships. No ships or modules will be available for sale on the carrier. Ship and module storing are available. Any help to mine tritium in Colonia and Sagae is appreciated. Speedball. Commander Primetime Casual issued a press release, which we've had to trim a little given that this show needs to finish before 11. Speedball 4. New grounds with a weekend of ludicrous speed behind us. The Galactic Speedball Association wants to offer a short retrospective of Speedball 4. New grounds that took place on HR 6164 ABC2. Throughout the weekend, 40 pilots found their way onto the leaderboard, submitting over 70 runs, with many more attempting qualifying runs outside the official channels. They were supported by 19 fleet carriers, making the system one of the most valuable ones outside colonised space for a short time span. Rebuys for single pilots racked up to well over 80 million credits, for some with the most expensive single crash ever recorded in history being Itsumo Otoke and his cargo hold of low temperature diamonds worth over 200 million credits. With B. Smitty, Bellicosus, Verminus, Aikenby and Shea Blackwood vying for the lead, with only 1 metre a second between them, things were coming to a head when defending champion Phoebia entered the fray. The top 5 places were separated by 5 metres a second to begin with, and come Sunday evening there was a 3-way tie at 3,658 metres a second, only broken up using the lowest altitude achieved. This sparked a fresh competitive spirit, and it was heartbreaking to see how many runs failed to achieve higher speed by just a single frame in a validation video. In the end, Fabia, in his smooth, almost lazy-looking style, broke the tie with 3,659 metres a second, a speed later matched by Shea Blackwood, but at the time Fabia had only cemented his win with a simply insane 3,560 metres a second at the heart-pounding low altitude of 48 metres. This was not the lowest run, however, as a special mention has to go to Epaphus, who was clocked going 3,006 metres a second while only 6 metres above the ground. In the end, the leaderboard was clean of ties in the podium, giving the win to defending champion Fabia, with Shea Blackwood of the elite races coming second and speedball veteran Verminous a close second. The Galactic Speedball Association would like to thank all helpers, the location scouts, the pilots and cameramen of the trailer, voice actors and music composers, the streamers and promoters, the bot developer and the moderators, everyone in chat who helped out with tips and clarifications, and most of all, the races participating in the event. With this legion of enthusiastic helpers and participants, this event wouldn't have been possible. Without this legion of enthusiastic helpers and participants, this event wouldn't have been possible, and in the end, we broke the participation record of Speedball 3, something we never thought possible. Onwards to Speedball 5, and burning up in atmospheres. Fly fast, and may you always miss the ground. Official forum thread bit.ly SB figure 4 capital F forum SB4 forum. Trip Epsilon, organised by Titan Contractors, finished on the 22nd of November, and Commander Radium reports. Trip Epsilon was a fantastic opportunity where we got to explore the lore of the generation ships with a lot of other commanders. The event was fun and interesting, and in our eyes a complete success. We hope this intrigues other commanders to come join us in the future for our next trips. Mercury's Wings has set off. It's an expedition from the amazing canyons of Maresh in the bubble all the way to the far side of the galaxy. They started yesterday and they're enjoying the fun events, all while building up the community infrastructure in the DSSA. Waypoint 2 is at Tracoa FL-P E5-4 Black Treasure, and the meetup system is Tracoa KW-E D11-2 Body B2. Coordinates 66.13 78.48. On Sunday, November 29th, and the meet starts at 1900 in-game time, which is also UTC. If you're not already signed up with the expedition, please do so on this ADSM website under Expeditions. Details at bit.ly/mercuryswings, including their Discord link. And that's a roundup of the community-led events this week.
Oh, well, that was quite a lot, wasn't it? Well done there, Norma, for getting through all that lot. That was quite a heck of a lot of news. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's nice when you get a big chunk like that.
Well, there's in the script, there's a hell of a lot of Norma's colour in that part of the script.
There's even more down below as well.
Can't really complain about people giving us stuff to talk about, though.
No, I think it's one of those things as well. When you're doing one like that, you just think, is somebody typing more as I'm reading this?
Yeah.
Somebody on the mountain typing and extra lines on as I'm going.
You see this little cursor appear.
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah. Well, that was the news, everyone. We've got some bits and pieces to talk about which are not newsy.
Yeah.
First thing, of course, referring back to our opening there of Mr. Vantier, David Pearson, written in the script here says mega oaf. Yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes.
Man who makes walking look difficult, and manages to make his arm point round the corner. He is in a bit of pain.
Yeah.
And
To
we're
be
trying
fair,
to
there was
get sympathetic,
a
but-
giant dog involved as well. It wasn't just him.
Yes, and the hint in the opening was the fact that David had been asked by his wife to go up into the loft to get down the Christmas decorations, even though it's still November, Mrs. Pearson.
Tisk, tisk.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Got out of that nicely.
Oh,
Yes, he did. Yes, he didn't have to do that. And now the poor sod can't get up the ladder at all. He's got to wonder how he's going to have to go and get a small child out of one of the mines and send them up the ladder into the loft.
it's going to be a Spartan Christmas in the Pearson household.
Yeah, because he's going to be sitting in Angus's
He's
dog.
not going to be able to hold a sword and shield with that elbow.
Oh,
Well, he could do some. Well, if he had a cast, it'd be easy. Could you glue it to him? But
yeah.
uh,
Let's not.
bandages-
He's
Yeah.
bad enough. Let's not let him get near the glue.
yeah, yeah.
I don't think he needs it after the medication they gave him
Yeah.
in the first place.
I think he went down beard first as well.
he'd have bounced back up again.
Yeah.
And I think they've been giving him the sort of drugs that normally cost a lot of money in places with a lot of loud, repetitive music.
Yes.
So I'm told. Mhm. And there are various horses out there not being tranquilized at all.
Yes.
Well, he is easy to mistake for that kind of animal, to be fair.
He's a bit skittish, isn't he? Yes.
Well, part of it anyway.
I'll bow to
Are you
that.
referring to his Cecil outfit? Because
No, I was calling him a horse's ass, but that's something else altogether.
Oh, those bright green socks. Oh,
Oh dear God.
Bright grey socks, yeah.
yeah,
right,
so
yeah.
yeah.
Fluorescent grey, you might say.
Yes. yes. Oh, look, he has been doing his best today. He has been helping out, though he has had to take frequent breaks. He has managed to write the Galnet Food Digest.
Yay!
I managed to wipe the blood off the script, so you should be able to read it through there.
God knows what he's actually written.
I wonder if
Yes.
it'll be a little bit disjointed this week.
Yes.
Well, remember that one a couple of weeks ago with Amelia and the tea and the.
Oh yeah,
That
the
was
tea.
so
yeah.
good.
Yes, quite. So it's a bit like that now. So
That-
a bit
that was the
stream
one
of
where we
unconsciousness.
That was the one we discovered unicorn as a colour.
Where he's still up and about, doing far more than he should. He's probably listening to this as well. Stop that immediately. Go and put your feet up, both of them, and go away. You can listen to the podcast. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't put your feet up though, because you'll hurt yourself. You know you will.
Yes, get somebody to help. See if there's a grown up there.
Go and lie down somewhere.
Yeah. Go and supervise Henry on when he's flying. Go on there. He'll love that.
Actual real life settle in the cockpit.
Yeah. Just sit behind him and be a backseat driver the whole night.
Yes, I say. Well, that'd be scary, wouldn't it? Actually, now he's mentioned Cecil, I'm going to leap to a later bit that we were going to talk about. Obviously, the Epic we're giving away copies of Elite Dangerous, and that finished earlier today.
Yes.
And of course, HCS Voice Packs had a competition, and the most requested voice pack they put as free for the same period as the Epic game was also free, except that they're doing it for a few hours more. The Kate voice pack from HCS is still free until midnight tonight.
Oh, come on, guys, last chance.
If you go there, go to the HCS voice packs. You will need a copy of Voice Attack, which you will need to download and purchase separately, but it's not a lot of money. And what you'll see is this: it will actually suggest that it costs money, but when you go and put your thing into the basket, it will give you a lovely little code you can type in at checkout, and you get it for absolutely £0 or $0 or even zero euros, which is not easy to say.
0 drachmas.
No, it's definitely 0 drachmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
0 million drachmas.
Yes, okay, right. yes, we'll go on. Congratulations to America. And it's Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving!
Yes, something to do with a turkey and being hung, drawn, and quartered.
Yep.
But
I saw President Trump pardon one today in the news.
yes, well,
No, genuinely pardoned an actual turkey on the news.
Yeah, they do.
they do that.
Yeah, every year. Yeah.
And then he pardoned another one, but that's a different story.
Yep.
Yeah, yes, that down, go too far down that path. Yes, but so congratulations to our American cousins. Don't stuff yourself with too much turkey. And I nearly said something far too political there, so I'm going to move.
No, just have a
move on.
great Thanksgiving, guys. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Just you
Well
lucky
done.
gits get at least 2 Christmases every year. I'm just jealous.
Yeah, but there's absolutely no imagination. It's turkey every time, or is it maybe Christmas is just leftovers?
I always call it their Christmas rehearsal.
They need to get it right. I know. Fewer different decorations. I know plenty of my American friends go straight from Thanksgiving straight to Christmas decorations. So tomorrow there will be Christmas decorations going up, and say it's still November.
Yeah. But you know what? While you get the drawing pins out, why not?
Yeah, at least they've got an excuse.
Yeah.
Yes, they got something to celebrate. As does our very own El Masri. Happy birthday, El Masri.
Happy
Happy
beer day to
Happy
you.
birthday!
Yes, happy beer day.
Happy
Definitely
day.
beer day, yeah.
Yes.
Happy leveling up day.
Yes, hope somebody's bought you some good beers and not that rubbish you do yourself.
Oh,
Something really good.
How
Yeah,
very
yes,
dare you?
I only
doesn't
say
make
that.
rubbish.
I only say that because he's never got round to giving me any, and he's not going to now, is he? No.
Oh, did you know?
No.
I had 2 bottles of the Hutton Beer Way Hutton coffee in it last year, and they were lovely.
sort of thing that would
get
set you
to
to
try-
sleep and wake you up at the same time.
Yeah.
Did you get to try the Bang Tidy?
No, I didn't try the Bang Tidy. No, I never got to try that.
He wasn't messing about with that one. That didn't have coffee.
Oh,
in
yeah,
that.
that was lovely, that.
Oh, that
Still
was
got
the one
the
with the gin
bottles.
in it, yeah.
Was that the one you could only put in stainless steel in case it dissolved the vessel?
It was medical grade glass.
It's medical grade alcohol.
Pretty much.
Hope you rinsed out your cup after using it for one purpose for the next one.
If you looked at the small print on the label at the back, it said "Do not drink."
Yeah, the government tell me that. I don't pay any attention. Yeah. In fact, actually, I have got a bottle of 96.4% alcohol in the cupboard from Italy, which you used to make limoncello. You just point the lemon at it and it strips all the oil straight out of it.
I thought you were
across
going to
the
say
room.
used. I thought you were going to say used to make liniment.
No. Rub that on. Well, what have I got here? Let's have a look. Oh, the Going for Gold is going well. I mean, obviously with the huge boost from Chicks last week, but I don't want to downplay the huge achievement that he had, but everybody else is starting to do well as well. We have the top 5. Everybody there's got over 500 million, and of those, the top 3 have over 1 billion.
Yeah.
And you, Mr. Marco 2612, are one of those 5.
I
Yes.
am. I am the 5th one of those 5, though.
Yeah, you sort of scraped it, and I think it was
how dare you?
I think it was that last Rocky World that actually just put you over the limit there.
I've been on the terraformable high metal content world, telling you, it's worth it.
All thanks to Chicks.
Yes,
and we got more coming up from him later. So stand by, everybody. Explorers, just stay where you are. Stop scanning. Feet up. Make yourself a cup of tea. Open a bottle.
It's all going to change after this.
Yes, it's all going to be a race. So number 2.
I tell you what it did for me.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just going to say, it all changed for me after last week when I started in these high metal content worlds, because you make a fortune off of them.
Are they in the anal region?
They are not in the anal
Nope.
region, no. They're further to the left.
Yeah.
So left of the
Left-
anal region.
left of it,
Sadly,
yeah.
not in the anal region,
But
no.
right next to the, is it the rocky ones or something? Some really worthless
Yeah.
ones.
They're to the left of the rocky worlds and icy worlds.
I was going to say, sometimes if you probe close to the anal region, you can still get very good results.
I'm
Oh,
sure
you
you
can.
will.
You got a water world if you probe right next to the anal region.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can edit this out, don't you worry.
Yes.
Yes, so that's going. Keep going, chaps, because don't let the fact that one person's done a huge amount stop us, because we'd still need a lot more people to do stuff. We are nowhere near.
Especially in Xbox. We're in 6th place in the Xbox,
Yeah.
and we want to be in 1st.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be getting that information through as well soon. I'm
So-
sure that they're working on that. Go on.
So everyone needs to get their anal regions in gear.
Yes, they do.
And probe.
Yeah. Don't probe too hard with your probinator. You might find a gas giant.
Yeah.
So
There's,
bad.
thank you, Shouty. Yeah, well done. Thank you very much. Yes. What I see here, Space Team. That's obviously something very close to Mr. Van Teen's heart. Lots of people have been showing pictures of getting signed books.
Oh,
Talk us through that. Go on then. Somebody who's actually got one, tell me.
I'll have a go. Space Team are a series of books by an author called Barry G. Hutchison. You could almost think they were written for Hutton truckers. Very, very funny. So it's sci-fi comedy, and very funny. And that's me finished.
But you've been
see,
receiving signed copies, yeah.
It was linking hook truckers and comedy together that threw you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's the Highland Bookshop, isn't it, that are selling. He's helping support them during the lockdown by signing a lot of copies of his books, so as to make them more attractive to us. So you can get a wee dedication inside the book.
Oh, so he's unable to sell from the shop itself.
Yeah, I think the shop itself, they're doing kind of mail order, but I don't think the shop itself is actually open.
It's non-essential, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're first editions, aren't they? So that's good.
Yeah, and I got
They
one
are first
today as well.
And some of them have had bowdlerized rude words put in there.
Mine worked.
Mine
I
did.
think he kept mine. I think he kept mine clean because he. No, I don't
He doesn't know you like we do.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We've heard. Yeah. by the fifth gin, you don't. You
Probably
really
thought,
want to be in
oh,
the
it's a
same room."
woman. I better keep it clean.
The gin's only an
Little did you
excuse.
know.
Yeah. Not smashing. Good. And I want to. So if you fancy comedy and you like words, go and buy a copy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting through this stuff here, our very own Overlight. Here of the constabulary in real life has just been promoted to sergeant.
Yay!
Hooray!
Hey, congratulations.
In real life.
Yeah. He's probably still mostly harmless, you know.
We did have that discussion, but I've surmised that it's actually competent.
Ah, okay.
Based on because the top ranks in the police are basically the chief inspector and his the chief constable and his deputies. So that's not really worth a whole rank to itself. So if you go from that downwards, then the PCSOs are mostly harmless, the specials are harmless, and the sergeant would be competent. You see how much we think about these things for no apparent reason.
Yeah. Thus, real life bleeds into everything else.
Oh, good for him, though.
But congratulations. He's worked very hard for it.
Absolutely.
Talking of working hard, the Hanky, we mentioned him earlier. and said he was actually back in the saddle. And he sent us a message.
Not that one.
Oh, yes. Not. Yes. He's actually doing the Colonia run as of today. And it's going to go from the Colonia to the Bubble on the 5th of December and returning on the 7th. Each trip will have an arrival within 24 hours each. So if anybody wants a quick trip out to Colonia with a minimal effort and a minimal view on the
You'll
way.
have to wait a week.
They're the best kind.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
No effort to get there. Very little time
No.
there. No effort to get back.
Yep.
Sounds perfect to me.
And you can be doing something else entirely while that's happening.
I always think of the fleet carrier as like a big long distance version of the Channel Tunnel. You drive in, you park, you do absolutely sod all for a while,
Yeah.
and then you drive off again the other end, and you're somewhere else. Except the
Yes.
Channel Tunnel actually has got a window to look out, which is more than the fleet carrier has.
No, I came back on Cloud Atlas with Flossie 2 a couple of weeks ago to try and get my FSD booster. I came back on his carrier and I went back to Colonia on another carrier that was leaving about a week later.
It's just like catching the bus.
Yeah. And I've been on Cloud Atlas a few times. So I quite enjoy being a passenger.
Well, I always assume that everyone's done everything because we've got so many commanders that have put hundreds, and if not thousands, of hours into the game.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm sure there are people listening who've not been on a fleet carrier, and if you haven't, the view, as we say, is the inside of a hangar. That's not very
Yeah.
exciting, but the
Yeah.
sound design is absolutely superb.
Oh, it's brilliant. You really get a feeling of going through space. Yeah.
I must do it. I haven't even been to Colonia yet, so this is a good way of doing it.
Oh, yeah. I bet you.
Definitely recommended. Yeah.
Go and get a fridge magnet, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And if the thing is, if you're not actually going on it, if you're sitting there watching it leave or watching it arrive, it's pretty spectacular. Then the view when you're not on it is pretty good.
Yeah, I've not watched one leave real space from outside yet. That's something I want to do.
They do the whole, with the hole in the rift and and away through.
The sound of the sort of foghorn thing.
I'm going to clip that sound
Donkey,
here.
yeah,
I'm going to
donkey
clip
with a
that sound you
foghorn.
made. And if it doesn't sound exactly like that, I'll be speaking to you.
Well, just for your information, it does sound exactly like that.
Well, it's my goal now. I need to find out for definite.
Yes.
Knowing you'd save that sound for other purposes, but I won't go into that. Yes. Oh, and Helen, that nice message about fuel ratting came from Micro T. They actually pinged me just before the show started and said that they want to actually include that as an item. So that was nice.
It was, and I've just been chatting to him in the stream chat. Yeah, really.
Is that why you missed your
quite a
cue?
big surprise.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is...
Sorry.
Go on.
I just going to say, Micro T is also well known in the Hutton Sports circles. And came second a few times in exploration data.
Probably.
And
all
I think
the
won it
rescues.
one week. Yeah.
Well, and I think this is obviously a trying time because with many commanders up to now, of course, people stop and they've got to spend money on buying the game. So you think about it harder and then you start off slowly, you try and do stuff. Now, of course, if it's free, you just leap in and go and you get people who won't necessarily have even heard of the game before they go, oh, it's free, I'll have that. Thank you very much. And then suddenly wonder why they run out of fuel. Yeah. Yeah. I know I ran out of fuel the second day I had the game all those years ago. Never done it since, but it didn't have fuel rats back then, lad. We didn't have fuel rats.
Back then.
No. Just blew up bloody ship. But
carry all the space tank away.
I know. But I think the work that the fuel rats does is hard enough when people are just trying something and just fail or make a simple mistake. But then the sheer volume of people who must have farked everything up over the last few days is tremendous. And the fact that no pilot gets left behind, I think that's the...
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
You're saying about just when I got rescued, I had plenty of fuel to jump to where I was going and plenty of fuel to jump back. Except and I hope Amelia will appreciate this. I was just chilling out mining, old style mining, before any of the funky stuff. No limpets, no nothing.
Helmet, pickaxe, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I was enjoying it so much, and just chilling out mining and just gathering all the materials and as they dropped off and manually scooping them as you had to. And that emptied my fuel tank. So I literally ran out of fuel by mining for too long because I was just enjoying the chill.
I remember those days.
I didn't start mining until limpets came out.
But it's funny, yeah. No, Wotherspoon did when Beetlejuice did that fantastic noobs guide down it.
Yeah.
Digest. Yes,
So good.
That was so good.
One of the ones they didn't use was when I suggested that since you know that you earn arcs for being in game, and you don't want to use up your ship's fuel, why not just park your SRV on the surface and then leave the game running so you actually earn up arcs?
Oh, I think they did use that one. I'm pretty sure they used that one.
Oh, goodness, nobody does that.
We've all done that. We've all been in SRV and just wandering around and beep, beep, beep. Ah! Yeah.
You've got 25% fuel left. Oh, that's loads.
Lovely. All right. Well, we've got Green Room to get to later. I don't know how many people we're going to have in there. So stand by, Green Room, for when we get down to you. Ooh, let's hope they don't all come in, but we'll see. Right. I think
it's my turn now.
I think let's move over to the apology officer, and please stand by, Mr. Monkey of the Tech.
Right, here we go. It's nearly time to sit back and get comfortable as Commanders Beetlejuice and Wotherspoon show us how to take the news extremely seriously without any of our folderol or whimsy. Before that, we have a little light space opera from Psycho Cow. Whatever happened to him?
In Orville, my ship gets broken. 0.22 light is spoken. Always the truckers are trucking. Always some mugs they are a-cooking. For credits we're looking, and my hard point's gleaming. The innocents are screaming. I like the cobras exploding. Get them in my sights, then coat 'em. I like to kill in my Ferdinand. Innocents die by my Ferdinand. Everything pops with a Ferdinand. Time to go boom to my Ferdinands. When they drop cargo, it's so nice. One look at us and they think twice. I have the best killing loadout. Is anyone left though to take out? Truckers all run through my Ferdinands. Interdict all in my Ferdinands. Shields are all gone to my Ferdinands. You're gonna die to my Ferdinands. Lots of new haulers have spawned here. The happiest we've been all year. They all like to call us cheap thugs. Now that all they want is just mugs. Life is so great in the Ferdinand. Making some catch in the Ferdinand. Blockading stars in my Ferdinand. Taking you out in my Ferdinand. Ferdinands, pew 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 the Ferdinands, pew 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 the Ferdinands, pew 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 the Ferdinands. Yes, you can pirate all ships, at least 2 Type 6s each trip. Watch them all scatter and then run. Come on, it's just a bit of fun. Arr! Why are you shooting my Ferdinand? Do you think you have a bloody chance? I'm fully armed in my Ferdinand, pirating you in my Ferdinands. Arr! Take that, you scurvy dog. Give us your cargo and die. Arr!
Galnet News Digest, 26th of November, 3306. We read the news, so you don't have to.
In this week's news, communities rally behind Lakon.
Distant Worlds 3, a distant prospect.
Ask me anything.
Community rallies behind Lakon.
There's been an outcry from commanders following the announcement that the manufacturer of Federal battlecruiser, the Farragut, Core Dynamics, is planning to place a bid to buy Lakon Spaceways. If successful, this bid will bring together two of the largest manufacturers and will also realign Lakon, a corporation with strong ties to the Alliance, with Federal interests.
Core Dynamics have names that mainly begin with the letter F, such as the Federal Assault Ship, the Federal Corvette, and the Federal Dropship. Lakon ships either begin with A, such as the Alliance Challenger, the Alliance Chieftain, and the Alliance Crusader, or with T, such as the Type 6, the Type 7, and the Type 9 Heavy. A Save Lakon campaign has been started by commanders willing to forgive Lakon for its infamous ASP Scout, amid concerns that the Alliance needs to maintain its independence from interfering Federal interests.
Zorgon Peterson, the manufacturer best known for the medium fighters the Fer-de-Lance and the Mamba, for the tiny hauler trading vessel, and for the serial non-delivery of the fabled Panther Clipper trader, was bought out by Falcon de Lacy 180 years ago, so a merger between Core Dynamics and Lakon would leave luxury manufacturer Saud Kruger and imperial supplier Gutamaya as the only independent ship manufacturers in the galaxy.
There have been rumours of something big coming to the galaxy in December. Could Core Dynamics, which also owns SRV manufacturer Vodal, be on the verge of announcing larger surface vehicles? Could Zorgon Peterson finally be in a position to release the much-delayed Clipper? Or could we be on the verge of reverse engineering the Thargoid Medusa so we can at last fly them?
The galaxy waits with bated breath, and it's not just because the life support has malfunctioned. Distant Worlds 3, a distant prospect.
Commanders wondering if there will ever be another expedition like Distant Stars, Distant Worlds, and Distant Worlds 2 may need to wait a little while longer to find out. The advent of fleet carriers had made the transportation of thousands of ships across the galaxy almost absurdly easy. A ship with no hyperdrive capability whatsoever can be carried to Beagle Point and beyond with a minimum of effort. Fleet carriers also have a longer jump range than any other ship, shrinking the galaxy still further and bringing the most remote stars within reach. The challenge that will make Distant Worlds 3 can be no longer the distance, but the depth. With the Pilots Federation opening up planets with thin atmospheres for us to explore, will there be new things for us to find? Will there be a reason to go exploring? And how will we be able to handle the logistics of hundreds of fleet carriers all jumping at the same moment? Distant Worlds 3 may happen soon after we are allowed to land on new planets. It may happen later, or it may not happen at all. If you want to know when more information becomes available, join the FleetCom Discord.
Ask me anything. Questions and answers from the first Elite Dangerous Ask Me Anything of 25th of November. Is Raxxla reachable?
Spoilers, sorry.
Any short or medium-term plan to expand or improve the possibilities of multi-crew on ships?
You'll be able to physically multi-crew in Odyssey, allowing commanders to taxi other commanders around.
What will ship interiors be like?
We don't have anything to share on ship interiors.
What can you tell us about Dev Diary 3?
It's coming this December.
There are 2 dates given for the first contact with Thargoids. The tourist beacon in Lave and the Codex both say different things. One says 2849 and one says 3125, which is correct.
The earliest one.
Powerplay has existed for 5 years with no updates. Will it see changes in Odyssey?
Powerplay is not forgotten about. It is still very much on Arthur's agenda.
Is there any chance of cool stats like X million tons of cargo traded today or Y million credits of bounties collected across the galaxy?
Arthur loves this idea. Let him look into it.
Will tritium yields be upped when mining? They're horrid right now.
We don't have plans to change the tritium yield at the moment.
What plans, if any, do you have to support cross-platform?
We have nothing to announce at this time.
Will dredger megaships ever reappear?
We love the dredgers. Maybe they'll see a comeback.
Can I ask if we'll get Class 1 seismic charges? The Small Seismic Charge Foundation would love to hear from you. We've created a shrine and offering in homage to hopefully getting an answer on this deeply troubling issue.
You can most certainly ask, and we will pass your feedback on to the development team.
Ship interiors?
We have nothing to say.
Any news on a fix for the pulse wave scanner?
We're still aware of the issue and working to fix the issue. As soon as there is a fix, we'll deploy it.
Can we look forward to more robust features for squadrons?
We'd like to expand and improve squadrons. It is on the agenda.
Will there be an Odyssey beta?
As we stated previously, we find betas very important. How and when we use our betas is still being decided.
I like smuggling, but there's a major bug which lowers the sale price of illegal goods by 25%.
We're keen for smuggling to become a viable, high-risk, high-reward alternative to trading. As for the 25% bug, it can be considered known and will be investigated.
The Asp Scout. It was said long ago it was going to see love, and FD had plans for it. Will it have a fairy tale ending in Odyssey, or is it still going to be a pumpkin?
I love a good fairy tale. I love a good fairy tale. Let me look into it.
Is there any chance there'll be new anti-Xeno combat zones?
I cannot go into details, and I appreciate that this is frustrating, but I am sure you will be happy with what we have in store.
Since I'm only allowed one question, I'll ask, is Raxxla accessible for anyone, or do we need to do something to gain access?
Redacted.
Why did FDev give in to those below the 25% for the CG reward?
We are still working out the correct levels of rewards to give out for CGs due to new variables such as fleet carriers.
Is Powerplay and BGS ever going to be open only?
There are no plans for Powerplay and the BGS moving to open only at this time.
Will our avatars in Odyssey be more sophisticated than we have at present in order to facilitate height and weight differences?
That's a great question. That's a great question. We'll have more on customisation in future.
Could Frontier please consider unbinding jettison all cargo for new commanders?
As it stands, we have no plans to unbind jettison all cargo.
If you introduce an additional system of skill ranks in mining, the new commander will not be able to get everything at once. Stations will pay less to a low-skilled mining specialist, and the commander who spent many days on mining and pumped his skill will be considered an elite and get the maximum reward for high-quality ore.
Thanks for the suggestion, Commander. We considered this approach and will continue to mull it over.
What have the number of commanders been like since the launch on Epic last week? Was it close to May's record concurrency after fleet carriers arrived, or has it been higher?
Higher.
If Raxxla is in the galaxy now, can it be found and accessed by any commander?
Redacted.
How does the team think about the amount of grinding required for various activities, especially material grinding and relogging? Is there any plan to make materials more fun to acquire?
We are not fans of the current meta for material gathering, and well aware of how grindy it is. Relogging being the best method is especially something we do not want for Elite, alternatives are an ongoing discussion with the developers.
Is the HIP 22460 permit currently achievable?
The galaxy is vast and has many mysteries, Commander.
Will fleet carriers, especially ATC Voice, ever include special voice lines for owners in the future? Right now, you just get greeted like any other random commander.
Great feedback. Let me pass this on to the team for consideration.
Any plans for adding some meaning to PvP and more incentive to do it?
PvP is one of the things we're looking into for our ongoing balancers.
Do we have a release date for Odyssey?
Not yet.
In the Codex knowledge base, under the Thargoid's vulnerabilities, it says the INRA developed the mycoid virus in 3151. On the Human Thargoid contact page, it says the INRA was established in 3193. Is this a typo, or was the INRA formally established in 3193 but was a secret organisation long before?
I would read it as formally established in 3193.
Ron Tolmie, Bruce Fantana and Block Benedetti bobbleheads. When?
Keeping your cockpits classy. Thanks for the support.
Is there still an unsolved element of the mystery and story around the Adamastra?
Everything might be solved, but the mystery is far from over.
Are we going to be able to support Thargoids?
That would depend if you've learned to speak fluent Thargoid or not when you meet them.
Raxxla?
Redacted.
Is there any news? When the moon will be available to land on?
No news on this just yet.
Will Earth-like worlds have any surface landings?
That's unconfirmed as of yet.
Are there any plans to implement a black box that can be resalvaged for exploration data lost if the explorer's ship is destroyed? Please say yes.
I like the idea of a black box. Let me pass it on.
Can I have Professor Palin's old base?
Only if you really like the smell of ammonia.
Could the radar get an overhaul to make navigation for explorers easier, with planets you've discovered and mapped appearing in different colours?
Thanks for the feedback. We'll pass this on.
Could you look into rebalancing the material traders? Having a 1:6 ratio for grade 5 materials is excessive.
I'm very keen on this idea. I see the rates as too harsh currently and have raised it with the development team.
Question redacted.
Redacted. And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.
Commander Beetlejude would like it to be known that she strongly counselled against the use of the Benedetti accent in her voiceover.
Thank you, Commanders. I haven't heard anything digested with that much attention since I last put a Naga chili on my pizza to hide the pineapple. It says here that we're in for a treat now, as an old friend has come back for a visit. Last time I heard those words, it was my doctor advising me to start taking the penicillin again. But in this case, our visitor is much more welcome. He's the man who amazed audiences at LaveCon and Elite Meet with his lariat trick without using a rope. He's responsible for more sales of sunglasses and brain bleach than an in-depth description of a colonoscopy. A colonoscopy. There's a reason I can't say that, but I'll tell you about that off stream. Truckers, I give you the one, the only, the fabulous Buck Naked.
Now you're a hot trucker. All you gotta do is truck that truck. When you're a hot trucker, if you can't turn a profit, then you're out of luck. It's for the mug that we fly all over the space. Point to lightly, it's crossed at a hell of a pace. Just turn the wheel and keep that smile on your face. Maybe someday soon you'll be a top trucker.
Well, howdy there, y'all. This here's Buck Naked, semi-retired spokesman for Lakon Spaceways, back again for a little old opinion piece. I'm sure y'all have heard about Core Dynamics wanting to buy out old Lakon Spaceways. I'm a mite tempted to hashtag fake news, but it ain't the case. The higher-ups are chatting about it like a gaggle of ladies at a quilting party. They all got their bright ideas and such, but all it takes is one of them to sew their piece on backwards, and it all fall apart. There's talk that business ain't so good at Lakon. Now, business is just fine. They may be a bit in the can money-wise, and I can't say if it were due to all of my child support payments across the galaxy and them hags suing not only myself, but also my employer, or maybe it's just a bit too much R&D into new product. You know, Core Dynamics has the market cornered on that little SRV that is Galaxy standard. Wouldn't it be nice if Lakon Spaceways could add to the Scarab and put a nice little trucker spin on it? Imagine yourself driving your own 18-wheeler, or lorry, across the ice-packed ground on a cold, cold moon somewhere. Where would you go? What music would you listen to? Would you wind up jackknifing it, or get it there in one piece? And then there's the T-10, can be a great little battle buddy out there. But what about combining the combat-oriented Core Dynamic ships with a serious hauler like Lakon? The Offspring could be an all-new take on a Corvette. All I gotta say is the galaxy will keep on spinning, humans will keep on living, Thargoids will keep sucking on lasers, and Lakon Spaceways will keep on bringing y'all great ships to fly through the black. Keep on trucking, y'all, and fur the mug.
Oh, I do miss that man. And all because I won't spring for the telescopic sight. It's my own fault, really. Now, it's time to go from the lowdown ornery galoot to the lowdown on what's happening in the CGs. It's the Pilots Federation's favourite pilot. It's Flossie.
It's Flossie. It's Flossie. It's Flossie. It's Flossie. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossie here with this week's Community Goals news. This week there are 4 new CGs. 2 trade and 2 supporting combat. Supply resources for the Federation's capital ship production in the Parutis system and protect the Federation's capital ship production from piracy in the Parutis system. Supply resources for the Empire's capital ship production in the manned system and protect the Empire's capital ship production from piracy in the manned system. Both the Federal Navy and the Imperial Navy have requested commodities for the construction of new capital ships in Parutis and manned. President Zachary Hudson has convinced Congress to increase funding for the Federal Navy and to advance the construction program for Farragut-class battlecruisers. In a powerful address, he said, "Defending the Federation is our highest priority in these uncertain times. It is vital that we reinforce our capability to protect the people from all threats." The Imperial Senate has approved funding for the construction of a new wave of Majestic-class interdictors. Senator Denton Patrius announced, "We face adversaries on all sides and from within, eager to corrupt and destroy our proud empire. This is a time to bolster our strength and our resolve." Both the Federal Navy and Imperial Navy urgently require additional resources to meet the new shipbuilding timetable. Deliveries of building fabricators, microbial furnaces and energy grid assemblies are requested by Labour of Perutis at Schweikart City in the Perutis system, and also by Artemis Corporation at Miyasaka Orbital in the MAN system. Labour of Perutis and Artemis Corporation have both requested the support of independent pilots to counter any piracy or other acts that may interfere with the supply of commodities for the capital ships, and will be handsomely rewarded for such efforts. Should either initiative be successful, each tier will provide enough commodities to complete a new capital ship. Alongside this, Schweikart City and Miyasaka Orbital will be improving stock and providing a 2-week discount on a range of modules starting on the 4th of December. Tier 1 is 5% off laser weapons. Tier 2 increased to 10% and adds defensive modules such as ECMs. Tier 3 increased to 15% and adds shields, armour and hull reinforcement. Tier 4 increased to 20% and adds projectile weapons. Tier 5 increased to 30% and adds missiles and other explosives. If successful, decals will be awarded to the top 75% of all participants of each of the 4 CGs by the 5th of December. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering building fabricators, microbial furnaces and energy grid assemblies, or handing in bounty vouchers to either Schweikart City in the Perutis system or Miyasaka Orbital in the MAN system. And that's this week's CG News.
Flossie told you what to do.
Thank you to Flossie. And just before we go over to the Hutton Sports Desk to see what's been happening in the galaxy's more out-of-the-way stadia, we've got part 3 of Commander Chix's exploration tips and tricks. And remember, he banked 72.7 billion credits of exploration data last week. So sit up and pay attention, especially if you're taking part in Going for Gold 2.
Good evening, Chuckers. Welcome to the third part of my mini-series, Exploration Tips and Tricks with Commander Chix, in conjunction with Going for Gold Part 2. Tonight, I'm going to talk about exploration bonuses, why they matter and how to get them with little or no extra effort. Before I do that, after last week's show, I was asked a question by our listener. It's a good question too. Our listener asks, is it worth bothering to scan planets around other stars in the system, other than the primary star where you jumped in? Well, planets around secondary stars often pose something of a dilemma. Is the bother of supercruising 600,000 light seconds for a single water world, or that terraformable HMC, really worth the bother? Or should you just jump to the next system for easier and quicker pickings? Well, as you know it would. It depends, and on several factors. First amongst which is, you're a trucker. Does 600,000 light seconds really bother you? If it does, go and give yourself a hard stare in the mirror.
A few moments later.
Feel better now? Good. Now get out there and stop messing about. How many bodies are there and what type are they? Just one? Maybe. How far is it? 2? Oh well, perhaps I might. 3 water worlds? Firewall that throttle. Other commanders will not often have bothered to make the trip out to a secondary star, so it's more likely that the planets orbiting it will not be mapped, leaving you to mop up their leftovers. Other paramount considerations could be, are you hungry? Do you need a pee? Yet another beer? A cup of tea? Or do you have a creeping urge to, well, I don't know, explode a vegetable into your face just for the hell of it? All of these mundane human distractions can be comfortably accommodated in the time it takes to supercruise to a distant star. During a Hutton run, I can prepare, cook and eat dinner and even wash the dishes before the supercruise really starts to wind down. I hope that has been in some way helpful to our listener and look forward to more questions and fewer complaints Anyway, let's get back to this week's show. In part 1 of the series, I talked about getting off the beaten path to find previously undiscovered systems. Why do we want to find undiscovered systems, you asked? Is it because we're all so vain and we like to see our commander names splattered across the galaxy like so many Kilroy Wazirs? Well, yes, alright, busted, you got me on that one. But it's also because the first discoveries come with some nice sweetener bonuses, and you should try to bag these whenever you can to increase your payout with little or no extra effort. There are lots of them, and they add up. Firstly, there's the first discovery bonus for being the first to honk a body. It's 2.6 times the base value. And this, my eager comrades, is where you get to splatter your commander name on things. Next, whilst in the full spectrum scanner, there's a small scan bonus for scanning each and every body in the system. Being the first to map a planet and receive an additional 50% of that planet's mapping value. This is again where being first really starts to rack up the extra credits and add another commander tag. All these bonuses and multipliers can be a little confusing to follow, so let's look at a typical example. You receive 270,000 credits for scanning a water world, but you'll get 700,000 if you were the first to discover it. That same water world will bag you a whopping 3.2 million credits if you were both first to discover it and first to map it, but only 1 million if you were the Johnny-come-lately and someone else got there first. Still, it's a sum worth having, but it illustrates how much more you can make with little or no extra effort by simply staying off the beaten track and finding and mapping things first. Being the first to map all bodies in the system also receives a small bonus. This one is tricky, and I generally only do it where I've already mapped most of the other planets, and because of course they are terraformable and there's only one left. Lastly, in the detailed surface scanner, the surface mapping efficiency bonus gives you a 25% uplift of the mapping value if you use the target number of probes or fewer. 99% of the terraformable bodies you will map will show a 6 or 7 probe target, and you should be able to do these in 4 or 5 probes most of the time. Lastly, there's one more exploration bonus, which is the mother of them all. I'm talking about the plus 200% bonus on exploration data from Lee Yong-ri when it's cashed in at LYR Systems. That's triple your money for the mathematically challenged. There's a bit more to it than just turning up though, and I've written a handy guide available all good Hutton Facebook page file sections near you. Commanders need to attain rank 5 in power play with LYR, which is why it'll take a day or two to get. It's fairly tedious and will cost you the thick end of 100 million credits. That's if you choose the relatively safer cargo hauling option. However, once you've done it, you'll triple the value of everything you turn in. It's worth considering if you have more than a few 100 million credits worth of data. Sadly, I've run out of time to mention the million ways you can die in space, and Palantir gives me a right bollocking if I run over. So join me, Commander Chicks, next week for more exploration tips, where I'll focus on the best and most stylish ways to get your ship blown up and lose all your data with panache.
Welcome to the Hutton Sports Reports, a concise dissection of the events going on this week in Hutton Space and beyond. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a David Pearson-themed doll with detachable arms, legs, head and arse, just like the real one. This week's events are the Roundabout the Garden Catch Teddy Bear Shield, the Fell Off the Back of a T9 Invitational, the I was happy to do your follow-on mission right up until the point where you told me to murder someone Cup, the I don't care if you did it, I just want the money charity cup, the Nuke 'em till they glow then shoot 'em in the dark open, and the Red Planet Taxi Service Hauler Challenge. The Roundabout Garden Catch a Teddy Bear Shield ended in a solid win by Zabadian this week. The Fell Off the Back of a T9 Invitational has had to be postponed when one of the competitors jammed their finger under a box and the nail went black during training. Ooh. The I was happy to do your follow-on mission right up to the part where you told me to murder someone Cup has been cancelled due to a lack of morals. The I don't care if you did it, I just want the money charity cup. It is Alex Zuno. It's always Alex Zuno. The Nuke 'em to the Glow, then Shoot 'em in the Dark Open was rained off. The Red Planet Taxi Service Hauler Challenge saw an excellent showing from newcomer Winter Ice UK, who was closely followed by Steve the Red. Oh, this just in. The National Spaniel Wrangling Championships have ended in victory for Angus the Excitable, who delivered a comprehensive drubbing to the Tumbling Pearson, winning by a bad fall, technical knockout, an unopposed licky face, and a trip to hospital. So, select 5 cars from your pack. I want to be the little car, and remember, judges always score on posture. This week's classified results are... Hold on, the machine's broken. There we go. Vantian, 0. Big Angus, the Cockeye Spangle, 1. Zebedian, 49. Marco 2612, 30. Noddy, 16. Chicks, 16. Cali Rossi, V2, 367. Rampage, 737, 324. Alex Zuno, 351. Attic 2, 66. Hacknor, 10. Poltergeist, 10. Winter Ice UK, 5,280. Steve the Red, 4,963. Connor's Key Nomads, 0. Flint Town United, 4. Sparta Stein 2051, 1. Queen of Kukari, 1. There are 3 score draws for your coupon this week. Decal to Winter Ice UK. Just email itookpart@hotandorbital.com to claim your decal kit, which this week consists of some white paint and the biggest potato you have ever seen. Right, the Hut and Runs were a tale of 3 voyages this week. Well, there were only 3 trips out there, so it was always going to be. Shazair made a run in a great time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 4 seconds. That's only 33 seconds off the record. There was another medium in between one at 1 hour 25. And at 10 hours, 14 minutes and 50 seconds, Victor 83883's run was a bit more leisurely. But sometimes it's not all about breaking the records. Can you do better? Can you travel farther, shoot more, truck more, and do it faster than these guys? Well, why don't you? Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the Hut and Helper. You could have your name up in lights. Well, it's a 40-watt fire glow bulb and maybe even a win. Maybe even you could... well, it's a 40-watt fire glow bulb and maybe you could even win a Hutton decal for your ship. Let's face it, anything has to be better than being dragged down the slipway head beard first by an overgrown mutant Cocker Spaniel. Isn't that right, David?
Thank you, Mayor. I never know what score I get for my draws. Stop that, Lou.
Ow!
Let's move on, shall we? In a couple of minutes, we can listen to Amelia tell us about whatever dangerous thing she's been sampling this week. Look, I know Wotherspoon and Beetlejuice get praise each week for their digestion, but this woman should get a medal. Or a stomach pump. Anyway, she's coming up after this short advertisement. It's an old one from Buck Naked. We figured that with the Lakon takeover happening soon, we might have to redo our adverts, so we're trying to get our money's worth. Have fun.
Well, howdy there, partner. My name's Buck, and I'm a trader. People ask me, Mr. Naked, just what do you trade in? Well, I'll trade anything to earn me more credits, but what old Buck Naked trades in is his very own space cow. Y'all know it as the Lakon Spaceways Type 9. She may turn slow and lumber along, but she's got plenty of room in her belly to store your load. And when I take her to Hutton Orbital, you can be sure that Buck Naked will be relaxing in his cockpit, counting the credits those poor saps will pay me for delivering hundreds of tons of goods they need. So if you want to get rich, pick yourself up a Lakon Spaceways Type 9, the Space Cow, for your utter delight.
Good evening. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Gullnet Food Digest. I try the galaxy's most rare and dangerous foods, so you don't have to. There aren't many foods on our list that qualify as a genuine natural disaster. But this week, we found one. The Karsuki T system is home to one such rare food, as tasty as it is damaging. The Earth-like planet in system is much smaller than our own pale blue dot, only 1/5 the surface area of Earth and with far lower gravity. But to look at from a distance, it is a familiar sight. It's a terraformed world, but the landscape has the same balance of vast expanses of water, large land masses, lush vegetation, and hot arid areas between the tropics. The average temperature is higher than that on Earth. Not beyond the range of normal human endurance, but hot enough that much of what on Earth would be forests much more closely resemble the grasslands and tundra normally seen in Africa. Year in, year out, the animals and plants on this world thrive, living out their lives in peace and with abundant foods. Yes, the local weather conditions sometimes can deliver challenging droughts or torrential rains that wash things away, but in general, life carries on as the seasons and years wax and wane. Every 17 years, though, if you were to watch from space, you'd see a phenomenon sweep across the planet that leaves destruction in its wake. The Karsuki locust is one of the few creatures that can be seen from space. Not individually, but as a swarm, as visible as thunderclouds across a planet. This insect has a life cycle that spends most of its time hibernating for years at a time, and, through a means that until recently was undiscovered, goes through a change that causes them to come to the surface in their adult form, take flight, feed, and then breed. As with their earthbound cousins, these locusts are solitary for the majority of their lives. But when they swarm, they're gregarious, collecting first in their thousands, then millions, and then billions in huge clouds of insects that devour all greenery in their path. Animal life stampedes as they approach, staying ahead of the cloud. But once it is past, they're left with little to no food, and the effect on wildlife is profound. After gorging themselves and engaging in orgiastic mating, they lay their eggs and die. It's only at this stage that they give back to the land. Kilo for kilo, they're one of the most nutrient-rich food sources in the galaxy, and for those creatures that have adapted to eat them, a veritable feast. The feasting isn't limited to the animal kingdom, though. Settlers, their crops left devastated by the first swarm they encountered, were forced to try the Karsuki locust to supplement their diet. With ships unable to land during the months of the swarm, for fear of clogging engines and plummeting to their fiery doom, they had to make do with what was on hand. As distasteful as the thought of eating insects is to many people, when dried and smoked, the Karsuki gave up its final secret: a symbiotic life form. The larvae are carriers of a harmless parasite. It stays with the locust as it reaches its underground nymphal form, and it's this parasite that is the timekeeper for their own swarming, stimulating the locust to transform and launch as a plant-destroying natural disaster. It causes the release of high levels of serotonin and a sweet natural chemical that give these morsels their amazing flavor. For something so high in protein and nutrients, they're sweet and so laced with serotonin by the time they die that they leave the diner satisfied and extremely happy indeed. Harvest ruined? No problem. You've got a smile on your face and a happy belly. No grain for bread, no trees to shelter under, no grass to run in on a summer's day. No problem whatsoever. These are so tasty. The planet is under imperial jurisdiction, and it's no surprise that this delicacy is served as a light snack at parties, sitting alongside the Aruka conventual sweets and the more traditional spun sugar ship sweets. They're immensely popular. So Moorish! The researchers are even investigating whether the locusts can help with the creation of modern biofuels. The guts of the locust have an astonishing ability to break down cellulose and lignin without producing any greenhouse gases. You never know, in generations to come, your ship could be powered by locusts. I just can't stop smiling! The rarity comes despite their abundance during a swarm, due to the long life cycle and short period they are alive in adult form. The larval and nymph forms aren't yet as tasty. But these are! Oh my goodness! I need another packet! As for danger, it's twofold. The first is that if you're on planet when they swarm, they can clog machinery, down ships and aircraft, and quite literally smother things they land on. The second is the risk of serotonin overdose. Too much of a good thing in this case is a very bad thing. It causes shivers, muscle rigidity, seizures, and even death. Many a forager has been found muscles taut like piano wire, face in a permanent but very happy looking grimace, and absolutely stone cold dead from eating too many. Oh dear. Oh, bother. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Food Digest. I've just realised that I've been scoffing dried locusts throughout this broadcast, and I'm grinning like I'm about to attempt takeover of Gotham. I'm off to read the Galactic Forum posts about the latest mining changes to bring me back down again. Tune in next week for another of the galaxy's most delicious but deadly rare foods.
Ooh. Another spectacular thing. How you managed to get those things down, I'll never know. What do they actually taste of?
Happy, joy,
What do they taste of? I'll have one. Hang on.
Happy, joy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't care.
Yeah. Don't eat them all. Give us a go.
Yeah.
Give us a go. Oh. Or
Yeah, one.
Yeah. Oh.
Mm.
You guys are the best. I love all of you guys.
Norma, you ate the last
me
three.
too.
Why don't I get one? I can't believe you ate the last three, Norma.
I didn't.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's sure there's more.
Hang on. We were gonna do something, weren't we?
Yeah.
What was it?
The beige room.
Oh yeah. The grey room.
It's the grey
yeah.
room, isn't it?
Grey room.
Yes. It's time for us to run to the green room. Now, thanks to an entirely inconsistent naming convention in TeamSpeak, the live broadcast and the Radio Green Room are two aspects of the same thing. If you're in the Radio Green Room silent, we're going to move you into the other room so we can actually talk to you. So don't be surprised if suddenly you hear lots of noises in your ear. Do not panic. Oh, when I press the right button, you will.
And if you're in the Radio Green Room silent and you don't want to talk to us, just move yourself back out again.
Or mute your microphone. Oh, hang on. Let's try that again. There we go. What's it doing there? And I'm going to move myself in there, and let's all run to the green room.
I'm going to
Run!
skip. I'm skipping to the green room.
And here we are.
And here we are.
Foot
Yay!
Yay.
In unison.
Oh, definitely not fit, I tell you. Right. Okay. We're gonna do this the same way we always do. We're gonna go and I'm not gonna try and work it out like Vantea does, so we don't end up talking to ourselves. If we do, we'll work something out when we come to it. Because it never works out. Somebody always joins or leaves. So it never works out that way.
Most of us are used to talking to ourselves, to be fair.
Yes, yeah, quite. I mean, that's what lockdown does for you, doesn't it? So we're going to start at the top, work our way down, and we're going to do it in the order they are at the top of the script, which is Helen, Steve, me, Amelia, Mia.
Okay.
So, and off you go.
Right. So I get to talk to Aidan. And what have you been up to recently?
Not much, really. I managed to squeak into the top 25% of the CGs last weekend, I think it was, or was it the weekend before?
Weekend before, yeah.
Weekend
Yeah.
before. But other than that, I've not done much, really.
Sounds like he's in a washing machine.
It sounds like it's in the engine room of a liner.
Yes.
Sound like I might have a fan or something.
Yeah, that might be the fan on my laptop going a little bit.
Aye. Alright, so you got your top 25% in the CG.
Yeah.
I did as well, and then I found out that they gave the stuff to everyone in the top 75%, so I need to try so hard.
Yeah. But, well, never mind. I got my FSD fair and square, so I can't complain too much.
Yeah, me too. Very good.
But other than that, walked 4.5 miles from the office back home last Friday, and got it all tracked so I could get stuck on the tracker for Baz, and that's about it, really.
Okay.
For the mug.
For the mug, thank you.
Well, I get to speak to Amelia.
Hello.
I've
How
not
are
spoken
you?
to you for ages.
Yeah, yeah. It's been wow. I mean, how long? Since Tuesday.
Not since Tuesday, obviously. What have you been up to apart from Tuesday that we had to cancel this week because of some oath?
What was it? What was the actual? Was it Mega Oath? Was the actual
Mega oath? Yeah.
What have I been up to? I have started a second Elite Dangerous account, obviously the free one that everyone had the chance of grabbing. And I am getting together with a friend of mine, and we are using the secondary account to do a trip out to Beagle Point and back, but we're doing it in weird ships. So or very small ships at least. So we're thinking maybe Asp Scout, or
that's massive.
Or maybe a Cobra.
No, do a Sidewinder.
We did think about a Sidewinder, but the thing about it is they're so boring. Everyone has a Sidewinder. You start off with a Sidewinder. Everyone has one. We want something that's a little bit more, something that you have to actually get off your butt.
Challenging.
I can verify that a D-rated Sidewinder will get to Colonia, so you have to go sideways a bit, but it will get there. So, and obviously once you got there, then stars are like about 100 light seconds apart, so that's no problem once you get there.
You can get great range off a hauler.
I mean, it's not like we're going to be super engineering any ship. I mean, we've narrowed it down to I think it's an Asp Scout, a Cobra, and we were thinking about taking Type 9s just because they're Type 9s and they're awesome.
What about an Eagle?
We did think about that, but the Eagle really has very, very limited internal slots. I think there's only like 4.
Jump driving to 3 a.m. AFM news. That's it.
Yeah. And plus it's
GPX. Nice.
It's not like we want it super challenging. We want to be able to stop and take in the sights, and it's not like we're going to be bombarding it and back, just to get there and back. We do want to like stop and, see some sights on the way, maybe some aliens or some natural phenomena, crystals, and all that kind of stuff as well. So, we don't want something that's going to be...
If you're in a D-rated Sidewinder, you'll stop at literally every star on the way.
I can recommend the Hauler.
We did consider the Hauler, but we'd considered the Adder as well. The Adder was definitely up there on the top of our list.
Oh, yeah.
But it came down to visibility, being able to see a lot of detail outside the cockpit. We want to be able to view all these things. So I think we've went for the Cobra because it has better visibility. Although we did consider the Asp Scout as well, not because it's a super jumper or anything, but purely because nobody ever uses an Asp Scout.
And there's a great view down. Yeah, I was going to say there's a great view down between your legs, but down by your feet, there's a lot of glass. Yes.
Yeah. Have you flown the Asp? I assume the Scout's the same, like more or less the same layout as the Explorer, but have you flown that in VR recently?
I fly my Type 9 all the time, and that's like a bubble on the end of a brick.
Yeah.
So
if you're in the Asp in VR, if you spin yourself round and look behind your seat, you can see the ladder linking the 2 cockpits.
Oh, cool!
Which is quite. I found that when I went to the Colliding Planets with, I think it was Shouty and Draxor, I think.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the planets decided to switch whose gravitational field I was in, and that ended my ship. So I then jumped into Draxor's Asp, and that was great because I was not only getting the view and everything else, I could sort of peer around the ship and have a look. And it's
nice.
When you suddenly realise there's a ladder behind you to go to the other cockpits.
Yeah.
The detail is superb.
The view for the lower cockpit's awesome as well.
Yeah,
I haven't flown my Asp in a while, so I actually haven't had a look inside the cockpit. But I have noticed that the first thing I do when I buy a ship nowadays is I check out what's behind me in the cockpit.
Oh, I've heard about you checking out the behinds.
Yeah, I like checking out the behinds.
Ow!
And I can, without a doubt, say that one of the prettiest ship's internal cockpit is the Fer-de-Lance. It is stunning. It's got like an open canopy roof. You can see all the stars. It's beautiful.
And asymmetrical as well, which is just interesting.
Yeah, that's the one thing that bugs the crap out of me. It messes with my chi. But yeah, aside from doing all fiddly bits like that, we've just been starting up the new account and getting ready, getting out of the starter zone. That's about it so far.
Excellent.
So I will just say for the mug.
For the mug.
Which leaves me to move on to talking to Mia. How have you been?
Hello.
Yeah, we will come on to the rest of you later. It's just all of you got names which are far too far down the alphabet. Sorry.
I'll be as quick as I can. So
because Commander Aardvark really missed out this week.
This week I've been doing mostly exploration stuff for Going for Gold, which has been excellent. I've been following Commander Chick's tips and tricks for that one, which is very profitable. And I managed to do a Deep Space Rendezvous with one of my friends who hasn't been in game for a long, long time, Commander Moral Recon. He's making his way back to the bubble. So while I was out exploring and he was making his way home, we met up in a system and had a wee fly about and a land on a planet and a drive about and look at your ship, isn't your ship nice? Oh yeah, look at your ship. And then we both went away. So that's pretty much been my week. So Beyond that, just a for the mug from me.
You.
That's me to talk to Commander Belwyn.
Well, hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, busy. I'm doing some quick Rubigo runs to make some quick credits because I've got to finish loading my carrier with tritium. I've got the mugs, got everything loaded on cargo wise for the gifts. Now I just gotta get the tritium, and then I'll be ready. I'm gonna jump to carbon on tomorrow. So, and then I should be ready for the jump on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot going on. And right now, of course, we've got Operation Wolf Hunt on hiatus until, is it Namaris? Or Naranzas, sorry. Naranzas gets completed, and then we can, because we really got to get the Federation out of Wolf 562. Get Hutton in there, because it'll be so much better.
Nice. And then when this is something that's been delayed?
Yeah, because of that weekend that they started working on it, the problem is there was a slight glitch with, I guess, the BGS and a change, and it caused Hutton to go into a different system instead of the targeted system into Wolf 562. Plus LP went up, and so yeah, I guess that kind of forced him in that area.
Right. So you're going to be crunching numbers and trying to fix things then?
Well, I've actually had help on that with others who've been assisting with the BGS, so in the background. But yeah, I'm hopefully the truckers will help with that, because Wolf 562 is a major system. It has 61 million. It has 2 Coriolis stations and a couple of orbitals, and it has a couple settlements, like I said, plus it has a refitting, a resupply for carriers. So it's like I said, it is a major system. It's why I think Hutton can benefit from the truckers can benefit from going into the system.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm also looking forward towards this will be the first time I've taken the Cosmic Parrot out of the bubble, heading towards Colonia. So this will be an interesting on this expedition. Playing Christmas music the whole way. I've already got the greens and reds and white Christmas colors on the carrier, so it's all bright and Christmassy. And
nice.
Yeah, so I'm going all out, and we're gonna jump once we get to Colonia. The delay in Colonia will be as long as it takes me to mine. That's why I'm asking any truckers that are going out to Colonia if you can help me resupply with tritium from mining. I appreciate it. I'll be doing a lot of the mine, but I'll need some help to speed up the process. So then we're going to head on out to stop by 11G World, do some different shenanigans, speedballing. I call it speedballing practice, but with 11G World, you might be able to break a record, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, go out there, kind of do some things. I understand there may be some life on it, so it's good for you might be able to get a scan on it, and then we'll go on out to Sajay. Then I've got some new commanders aboard who haven't been to Sajay or Colonia, so they'll get their first taste of checking it out, and then that'll be really cool. And then back to Wolf 562, and then we'll hopefully get the truckers we can get them to the top of the 562 system.
Nice. Oh, and for the new people going out with you, don't forget to remind them to grab the Codex entry while they're out there.
Oh, of course. Yeah, and of course, all the truckers are welcome to come along and stuff. Like I said, that's why I'm collecting the trim. It should be, I'll have enough to get to Colonia, then I'll restock, have enough to get to Sajay, and then restock and then come back. If anyone knows of the only system out at Sajay, I've not been able to find any entries for like any tritium hotspots. If y'all know of any near Sajay, any systems that are close by that have any tritium hotspots, please let me know. that'll help me on being able to refuel it. Because otherwise, I'm going to have to start exploring, and it's going to take a while at Sag till I can find a tritium hotspot to start mining and bring in the tritium.
And is your name in game Commander Belwyn?
Yep, Belwyn Darkstar. If you see the Cosmic Parrot, you know I'm there. I'm around.
Cosmic Parrot.
Yes, that was named after a friend who has some parrots, and so I decided, and that's how I came up with the name Cosmic Parrot.
That's an awesome name.
Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I know I had a lot to say. Sorry, but there's a lot going on. But anyway, I just want to say thank you and for the mug.
For the mug.
Right, I think it's me next. And Commander Chicks, how are... I'm going to ask a question. I think I know the answer. Have you been busy in game this week?
Did you hear me laughing?
A bit, yes.
Yes, I think it's fair to say. I'm tired of exploring for a while in the
really?
of exploration CG.
Yeah.
So I've been mooching around Hutton space, really.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I think it's fair to say that you've contributed to Going for Gold too. Was it 72 billion?
You make it sound such a lot.
It is such a lot.
So, yeah, and I'm very happy that you're finding the tips useful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm going a lot slower, but I'm making a lot more credits along the way. So yeah, really good.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone. You're still here though.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I worked on PS, SPF,
PSPF, LF2,
Piss flaps.
Yep. Piss flaps, yes.
To get the percentage down, I did some work today in Narences to try and get our
the nonsense system.
So I checked first thing this morning for CGs, forgetting that CGs come out a little bit later.
Yeah.
So after I'd stacked up with lots of missions in Narences, I was like, there's a CG! Because I wanted to try out my shiny new fleet carrier.
Oh yeah, of course. See, well, you need to clear those missions quickly then.
Oh, done. All done.
Done them. Great. Excellent.
Done this afternoon.
You're ready to move on then.
Well, I'm filling up the fleet carrier, so and it takes, even in T9, it takes a long, long time.
Yeah. And you've got all that to do again when you get to the other end, you know that, don't you?
Well, you're able to see the benefit at the other end.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've got something to buy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the systems I've been in, I've sucked them dry of building fabricators.
Who needs a Panther clipper?
That's right. So I'm doing all this to save 5% on a pulse laser on Black Friday.
Excellent.
Because I don't have the money.
Well, you might get better stuff than that. It just depends on how it goes. It sounds like, you could do a one-man or a one-commander community goal contribution there and just get the whole thing up a couple of levels.
Well, it's pretty high at the moment. I'm doing the Empire one, and I keep watching the total, thinking,
yeah,
a lot of people doing it. Anyway,
yeah,
lots of people in the list, so I will say for the mug and let you get on.
For the mug.
The mug.
And that's me to talk to Norman. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Flossie. How are you doing?
Not so bad.
Good.
I haven't been in Warcraft for a while because I've been too busy in the league lately.
All right.
Shadowlands is up now.
Yeah, I've started Shadowlands, but I was working on my tunes up until before Shadowlands and getting the rares and all that. So I was playing a lot of Warcraft, and got my free commander as well, from Epic. So other than that, that's been about it.
Yeah.
Just working hard as usual. Anyway, but the list is long, so I will also say for the mug and let the next one come up.
Thank you for the mug.
Well, the next one's me. And the next one's me. So I will instead say, Flossie, what have you been up to this week?
Well, as you probably heard earlier, I've spent a lot of time doing all that stuff. And when I haven't been doing that, I've been out exploring. That's pretty much it for me this week.
So you're not just
it was
the,
extremely busy in the Philips.
I can
I've never seen calls coming in every few seconds sometimes. It was just madness. Yeah. So, certainly kept us all very busy.
You're not just the Pilots Federation's favourite pilot, you're the Fuel Rat's favourite fuel.
Oh dear. I don't know about that.
I was hoping to ask you about the Shadowlands thing because my daughter's, I don't think she's slept since it came out.
I just haven't had a chance to. I didn't even know it was out yet. I knew it'd been delayed. And
honestly, looking at the frustration at load times and stuff, probably best if you jump on it in a week or two.
I just happened to see a post in one of the Facebook groups I'm in, and oh, it's out, right? I better get in. Yeah. So
I shall look forward to hearing tales of that next week.
Yeah. Okay then. So now then, you just talk to me. So then it's
me.
Harry to talk to
Talk
you.
to me.
Is it? Although
Oh yeah, but you've been missed out.
nobody spoke to Dead Meat yet, so you can talk to Dead Meat.
Yeah, and you think that's a coincidence? And when I said I couldn't work it out like Dave does, I may have lied. How you been doing, Stevie boy?
Not bad. I've not had a lot of game time, but I took Loose Knockers out into the black. No idea how much data I've got, but I will find that out when I get back into the bubble, I guess. But yeah, apart from that, I'm just going to go with that and a further mug because, as we say, there's quite a few people knocking about, and my game life hasn't been that exciting. So for the mug.
Wasn't right.
It's you next.
Is it me?
You next.
That means
you can talk to me.
I can talk to you.
Yeah, that's it.
Won't take very long. Over this last week, my entire elite experience has been downloading the epic copy of the game. That's it. I didn't even manage to launch it. That is it. That's all I've done all week.
What, your download speed really bad?
No, it's just I did it. I haven't been near the. Don't forget, it's since April I've been in the game for about 45 minutes. I haven't had any time to do it. Too busy. Today I was sat at my desk doing scripting stuff and finding pictures and photoshopping and stuff all day. Thursdays are gone.
Oh God.
But with this, it may look like this script just happens.
I thought it was magic.
You may think there's absolutely no effort gone into this whatsoever. No. And usually, of course, I share it with Vatir. But poor bugger, if he tries to do any typing, he's got to use his left hand as well. Because if you ever tried typing one-handed, your hand gets tired really quickly. And of course, since his arm is not in the cast, he should not be doing it. So he did retire hurt today. So I've been doing after an hour and a quarter's conversation this morning with him to work out what we're going to do. I spent the rest of the day sat here typing away and scratching head and looking out the window a lot. But go on.
And here's me thinking it was just magicked into existence using pixie dust and a few weird but occultly significant cusses.
Well, that's basically it. Yeah, we just dressed it up a bit. Just take some shrooms and see what comes out.
Yeah. All this time I thought you guys were improvising.
Well, yeah. You don't think you can write this stuff sober, do you? So that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to say for the mug.
For the mug.
I think it's me next. And speaking to Hunter Sage, have you had a busy time in game this week?
Hi there.
Hey.
No. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yes.
Okay, great. No, this is, I think I can take the prize for having not played Elite the longest because I haven't played it for over a year now. I'm just starting to get back into it.
It's good that you finally got your priorities straightened out.
Well, I got ill. Not COVID. Something else. And I'm just sort of starting to get back now. And
But that's
in
good,
fact,
yeah.
my home office is just in the middle of being rearranged. So I'm looking at it now and going, well, once I've got the desk in and the computer back on it and somewhere to put the joystick, then I can play Elite again, which would be
Yeah,
really, really
absolutely.
great. I have a question, though.
Mhm.
So as somebody who hasn't played in over a year now,
Yes.
what do you think the most surprising thing will be for me when I log back in?
Oh, there's going to be loads. Fleet carriers will give you a surprise. They'll definitely, if you go and see a fleet carrier, land in one, just interact with one. They'll be a great thing to see.
The mining nerf.
The mine.
Don't stay on it overnight. Well, you might find yourself a long way away.
Exploration was my big thing when I played before, and now, of course, I'm
Excellent.
hearing everybody talking about exploration now. So I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if I should just hop back onto that.
Yeah, if that's your thing, then definitely exploration's worth doing, especially at the moment because we're doing Going for Gold 2 to get the exploration gold trophies. So get yourself out there and do some of that. Planets, I'm not sure if you would last have been on before they changed the kind of graphics for the planets, but the planets look a lot better now. There's less beige and more different colours. The colours are all based on the kind of materials that are on the planets. So planets got a lot more interesting. And there's loads to see and do out there. Yeah, definitely.
This might sound like a silly one, but did the SRVs leave tracks when you last played?
Yes, they did.
In that case, that won't be a surprise, but that would have been.
Oh, okay then. Right, okay. Yeah, the planets are exactly as you remember them then.
You just forget.
Well, that's good. I like
when
to
things
came
came in.
anyways.
Yeah, and there's lots of life forms out there, both planet-based and space-based.
I have not bumped into any of those yet, so that'll be interesting.
Go and bump into something.
They're all very pretty.
And I might do that in my dolphin that Amelia was talking to me about in the chat just now.
Yes. So yes, dolphin, right?
You can explore in a dolphin. It's fine.
It's
a dolphin. Yeah.
I don't want to say on the air my feelings for the dolphin.
Mind you, I went all the way out to Beagle Point and back in a Type 7. So
I enjoy going in a DBX.
I did that. Beagle Point and back in a Type 7. It was easy. So I went back and did it in a Type 9.
I quite like my flying brick. That's my other ship.
Yeah.
I love Type 9.
Type 9's awesome. Type 7 actually looks like a brick though, doesn't it? Looks like a brick and handles like one.
Yeah. In fact, it is a brick.
It is a brick, yeah.
But if you're rescuing passengers, you can fit over 100 of them on it.
Oh, yeah. It's great as a tanker as well because it actually looks like a tanker. So if you fancy a bit of fuel ratting, that's a Type 7's awesome for that.
Sounds good.
Stop laughing.
I think I'll leave it at that so that other people can talk. So I'm just going to give you a for the mug.
For the mug.
Oh, I think that means it's me to talk to Lithobreaker. How are you doing?
Good evening. Oh,
Good
not
evening.
too bad. I'm revelling in the fact that I'm able to get into game at the moment. I've spent 4 days out of the last week completely offline. Some nice person broke a wire in the street box just up the road from us. That happened to be our internet connection.
Oh, heck.
It made it fun to work from home as well, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Look, you told me you wanted a few days off.
It didn't work. I ended up to drive to the office every flipping day.
Can't blame me for that one.
No, you need to break my leg as well next time.
Well, that would just you
Misa,
joining the club.
Can we volunteer?
I knew there'd be a queue for that one. But yeah, what little time I've been online and in game, I'm out in the black exploring, obviously. I'm aiming to be in the top 1,000 commanders in Going for Gold 2.
Top 1,000. Oh.
Top 1,000, yeah, I should be able to manage that.
Yeah, I think you might manage that. Yeah. Last time I looked, I think I was about 14th or something. Probably dropped down a bit now.
I've only handed in about 5 mil so far, so I'm way down. I've got about another 30,
I'm sure you'll get a lot more.
scams
Especially if you
left,
listen to Chick's advice. And that's what I've been doing. And goodness me,
the really annoying thing. About a month ago, I sold nearly 1 billion credits worth of Distant Worlds 2 data on my other commander.
No. Yeah. No, I sold a lot of mine when I was out on Distant Worlds 2. That's when I became elite.
Yeah. Well, this one was already elite before it went out there, so yeah, doing well for it now. But yeah.
So I've been at Shinrata since the beginning.
Yeah. So yeah, when I finally get back into the bubble again and hand this in, I'll be well, probably somewhere in the top 20, top 30, realistically, but enough to make a difference in the stats and feel like I've done my bit. But I'm certainly not winning any prizes for it.
You never know.
It's all about the taking part, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah.
I want the snazzy glowing bobblehead holograph thing for my dashboard with a gold star on it.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure we
Yeah,
win.
good one, this.
Yeah.
Good against the trade one.
Other than
Okay,
that,
well.
I think it's just for the mug for me. Let everybody else
Okay,
get a
thank
chance.
you for the mug.
So, Night Ranger, what have you been up to this week?
Jump and scan, jump and scan.
So there seems to be a theme developing.
I got about another 150 jumps to star 1. We can turn around and come back.
Excellent. That's a lot further than I made it.
A lot of empty space out here with no names on it.
Yeah, it's always the best place to be. You know that when you get back, your name's just going to ping up on that map.
Other than that, that's been my week. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody who's on this side of the pond, and for the mug.
Mug. And happy Thanksgiving.
Which leaves me to finally talk to the Jinx Effect. That's a name I'm not familiar with.
Evening. I'm normally in under my other commander name,
Which is?
Ken Wallace.
Oh, well, that one's very familiar. Yes. So, how have you been doing, you multiple personality person, you?
Learning the problems of multiple accounts. I've just been at one of the most beautiful parts of the galaxy. Have you ever heard of the Abyss Pool Nebula?
Sorry, did you say the piss pool? No?
Close enough.
No, that's Slough, isn't it?
Pretty Abyss Pool.
Yeah.
And my SRV running out of fuel and realising, I don't have the the materials to refuel in this.
It's my other commander. Yes, yes. You went, yeah, I've got plenty of those. It's not a problem. Oh, no. I left it in my other suit.
Made it back to the Aspen time where the view between my legs is amazing.
Can I just take a wee moment to compliment you on your Stephen? Can I take a wee moment to compliment you on your Stephen Benedetti accent there?
Thank you.
It's better than yours.
I thought he was trying to do a Jude impression.
I was trying to do Welsh.
That's what I thought. The nice thing during that Jude has such a real command of language that she was able to use 4 or 5 different accents in every single sentence, which is really difficult. So anyway, we're talking to you. We're talking to you, Mr. Jinx. Yes. What else have you been doing?
Pixie and Dixie there.
Yeah.
Just some exploring for going for gold. So other than that, it's for the mug for me.
Thank you. So for anybody again who's listening to the podcast of this, for Going for Gold, remember we want you to be running the Hutton Helper. Go to hot.forthemug.com and register or download, and join the Hutton Squadron, please. Okay. That brings us, boys and girls, to the end of the festivities.
Oh.
Do we have anything else we want to talk about before we run back and talk about these people behind their backs? Sorry, but before we say goodnight.
I've told you
talk
before.
Talk
they
about
can still
people
hear
behind
us.
their backs.
Yes.
Talk about people behind their backs. That's the best bit.
Yeah. So we've had a lovely time. It's been really good. I think my mum's come to pick me up now.
Hi,
Did that. Yeah.
Hi, Sean's mum.
Yeah, be very clever. Right. She scattered around most of my garden. Right.
I was thinking similar to mine.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody who listened. Thanks for the crew. We're going to say we'll go and just have a little post show drinky poos. What do this, and I think it just remains for us to say for the mug.
For the
mug.
Hashtag mug life.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hut and Trucker song. For the mug. Flossie always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hut and Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hut and Trucker song. Give me a large pad that I can land on, and I'll give you my cargo and sing you my song. North Part 22 light years to go. Cruising to Hudson, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hut and Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hut and Trucker song.
This is a staff announcement. Would floor mopping guy please report to the hot box offices urgently and bring your big bucket?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
Night night.